The main argument against the uniting of the Total War community being possible is this. The historical community is too diverse. We can never agree. But to me, that's not what unity is about. That is not what we should want. Everyone agreeing on everything, well, that's not how humans are. It's not possible. We will always disagree. By uniting the historical community, this is what is needed. Fans, new and old, from ancient history lovers to modern day history lovers, from around the world and whatever continent you want to see. We can all unite and agree on a couple of set things. The historical titles have been greatly lacking and have been pushed to the side. Not gone completely. I have good reason to believe they are still in the works, but certainly in the last 5 years, it has not been good. The historical community needs to set aside their differences and work together. Maybe you want a Medieval 3, and maybe another guy wants an Aztec game. Either way, instead of arguing against each other, think about this. At this rate, there's a chance that neither could happen. However, if unity is achieved and historicals come back in full force, then every historical fan suddenly has a chance of getting what they want. Okay, then you can fight among yourselves, but not before. Warhammer 2 is the most played title right now, but is the Warhammer community bigger overall? Far from it, because all these historical fans here are dotted around. They are spread across many different titles, and we also don't have enough modern historical titles to test the steel of a modern historical audience. Our games are dying, their games are thriving, and still we have more players overall. We are the cheese spread, and Warhammer is just a block of cheese. So the historical community needs to unite and show their numbers, and not push for a specific historical title, but instead push for historicals as a whole, and for specific features. Of course, feel free to state the game you want, but understand that that specific detail could be really just making us look more divided. This is what fantasy fans were saying. Warhammer 3 when? Warhammer 3 when? Warhammer 3 when? This is what we say. Medieval 3 when? Empire 2 when? Mongol when? We need to change this to be history when? Historical when? Otherwise, we will always look outnumbered. In the world of business, they look at numbers, and if historicals continue, it likely will not be down to the CA staff who know what we want, but that option is likely to hang with SEGA, the guys at the top who make all the big money. Like, people often criticise me and others for siding with the Creative Assembly, the corrupt Creative Assembly, but how can they be corrupt if they are owned by somebody else? By all means be annoyed at blood and gore. I'm not particularly happy about it myself, but I don't see the reason in blaming the member of staff when the actual boss is sending the order. And I say this because at the end of the day, if we want what we want, historicals to come back and have them better than ever before, we do have to unite with the developers as well and work with them. And if this is something that you do not want, then historical titles are going to get worse and worse. And to begin uniting, I am going to go through every historical title and state one fact that I think every fan or hater of that game can agree on. This acceptance, I think, will be a very large step in uniting us. Shogun 1, revolutionary for its time, and that's what we also want to see from historical titles. Medieval 1, an improvement onto the last. That is important. Rome 1, made the Total War franchise known worldwide. This is also important. Medieval 2, still very playable and loved to this day. Longevity is essential. Empire, the rough launch seriously hindered its potential. This cannot happen again. Napoleon, having an overarching theme is important for bringing the campaign together. Shogun 2, optimization is key to creating a game that is beautiful. Rome 2, a waste of potential. Whether you love it or hate it, Rome 2 should have been so much more. We cannot deny this. Attila, new historical titles can be liked by old-time fans. This is important for us to bear in mind. Three Kingdoms. It's important to show the culture of the audience in the game. The Heroes system worked for Three Kingdoms and Warhammer fans, as that's more in line with their culture, what they are used to. It will not work in a Medieval 3, let's say, as Medieval 3 or whatever it is must focus on its own culture. Likewise, if we had a title set in Africa, it should be designed in a unique way to appeal to Africans. European games to Europeans, Chinese games to the Chinese, etc. Not to cut outside audiences off, but to show respect to that culture and respect to the fans living in the area that that game is based. There we go. Hopefully we can all agree with these points. Let me know in the comments if you are a fan or a hater of any of those titles, and if I did get it right. This is how we unite. We should not be trying to agree on everything, but should instead focus on the stuff that we do agree on, and push those ideas forwards. And then we can achieve what we want. Subscribe for more. Remember, history when. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one, tomorrow's video. But for now, goodbye.